Hello and welcome back. Let's talk about why we were born to sketch. A long time ago, we lived like this. We were communities, we were tribes, we were hunting from the land. We were basically a startup, a business. We had an audience, we had a market, we had leaders, we had people doing the jobs. We created tools. We realized we had to overcome challenges, we figured stuff out. And we thrived with people finding skill sets and roles that they excelled at that contributed to the common good. And one of these types of people were the ones that figured out which pigment they could dip their fingers into and then start to create lines and shapes that represented the world around them. The seasons, the weather, their environment, the things they were hunting, how they were going to hunt them. And we can see from these illustrations and photographs of incredible ideas about how we started to communicate that there are some very amazing shapes and some artwork. To think this was done in a cave at dark with a torch and just dipping, working from memory, working with the surface and the materials is really quite amazing. And this is just what I've imagined myself. I haven't researched this to any academic level. But when I see this, the stories I hear are problem, idea, solution, and growth. And this is the circle of sketching. You see a problem, you have an idea, and when the idea is ready, it's a solution. And when the solution is working, it creates growth. Positive growth, reducing, expanding, all of the right things. Growth in the right way with the right end result. Now, sketching helps you go through this cycle. And that's what we're going to explore. So if we go back to our cave, imagine our cave startup pitching to their audience of community investors, community advisors, community leaders, saying this is how we're going to hunt the passing animals as they migrate. This is what we're going to do. Are you in? Can we improve this? And they're having a pitch and a meeting. And this is what it looked like up until 2020. We used to meet, huddle, sketch, share ideas, work off our laptops, brainstorm, discuss. This is how we communicated and we solved problems. So really, between the two, there's not actually that much difference. I mean, obviously, the tools we use and how we are communicating have different entry points, like a phone or an internet cable. But the reason for doing it is the same. And we might only be amplifying this message to a small tribe of 15 in front of us, or we might be creating something that billions of people use. We're still starting it in the same way with a sketch and a pitch. So, I believe life is full of positions and opportunities and experiences where ideas are blocked to understanding. You can be in a position where you're like, I just can't communicate properly, or how do I get my team to understand, or why can't they see it like I see it? There is this barrier. And often the barrier is in our own heads, or in how we are verbally sharing, or the time at which we choose to share an idea. But there's an idea, there's a block, and there's understanding. And sketching allows us to sort of really break down these barriers that our lives are full of. And with a sketch, we can say, well, how do we overcome this barrier? Do we go underneath it? Do we throw ourselves over the top? Or do we blow it up like Roadrunner in a Warner Brothers cartoon with some good old TNT? This is what sketching allows us to do, is to explore these different possibilities, and then we come up with something that works. And then we create a way to get the sketch helps us get the idea from my ideas through the barrier to a common understanding. And that's what we want ideas to do. So there is often way too much talking at people. And maybe even having a list of bullet points, which is quite dense, but then the speaker deviates off that script, which I could read quicker myself, and starts talking about something else whilst I'm half reading this, whilst I'm trying to understand and visualize whatever they're trying to visualize. And how does anyone even know that we're close? So this is what happens all the time. And it creates confusion, it wastes time, it takes us around in circles, it's frustrating. And most communication feels like we're pushing boulders up hills. It's hard work, it takes a lot of time, it happens all the time. Do we really get the results? And then when we get to the top, what have we actually achieved? So when it should look like this, we're collaborating at a whiteboard, or on a virtual whiteboard, we're brainstorming, we're sharing ideas, we're adding notes, we're all seeing the same thing, and it's very simple, it's very tangible, it's an amazing baseline. And we can point at things, talk about them, reflect on them, have a group discussion. It's guiding our conversation and momentum. We can break things down, get approval. So sketching equals taking the ideas that keep us awake at night, putting them in a tangible way and letting us focus on rest. So when we get back to work, we're super sharp. Also, just saves our brain energy for other things. And we've all been in this situation where we're the person going, what? As somebody just dumps a whole bunch of raw ideas that they are literally just having in their head right now. And I know that they need to be able to do this, but at the same time, they are not responsible, and you're not responsible for processing it. They are responsible for processing it. When they come back with an idea and they say, hey, what do you think? That's the moment when you can contribute because it's clear and it's well thought out. So sketching is an incredible gift. So you can sketch anywhere. You can sketch on a whiteboard. You can get your tablet, sit on a beanbag. You can sketch on your phone. You can sketch on pen and paper. You can sketch on post-it notes. I don't really mind. I think all of these places are effective. I love to sketch in all of these contexts. And each one gets you a slightly different result, but gets you some really great ways to reach out to people. So this is what we're going to be doing. And I want you to remember that it all started here. That these first sketches on the wall were pitches for how to solve problems and survive and align beliefs. And we still do it today, and we will return to it in a new fantastic hybrid format. So in the next video, we're going to talk about your sketching mindset. So we've talked a lot about it's in our DNA, so we can do it. Now let's make sure that up here that we are knowing why we're doing it and how it's going to work. Excellent. I cannot wait to see you. You can see that I love this. I'm super passionate talking about these ideas, and we are going to turn you into an amazing sketching professional.